Just going to give a couple of minutes of my evolution and escalation to all of this stuff that I now have. All these mods and all this juice and all this gear and all these RDAs. I started on a Kangaroo EVOD. I walked in on my 43rd birthday after 26 years of smoking. A shop opened up near my house. It wasn't closed down after a few months. I figured, I don't know, people must be buying it. They're still paying their rent, so it must work. I walked in, I slapped down $50. I said, this is my budget. I'm a pack-a-day, full flavor smoker. Explain to me how all this stuff works. And I walked out with a Kangaroo EVOD and a couple of one juice flavor. One juice flavor. Because that's the mentality of a smoker. Is, okay, we never really chose the brand for the flavor. We just, our friends smoked this, so we bummed one, we bummed another, we bummed another. And after we had bummed a series of consecutive cigarettes, we figured, okay, I'll smoke those. And, you know, it's not like you went to a shop and they gave you samples of, why don't you try a Camel Light? Why don't you try a Camel Full Flavor? Why don't you try a Menthol? No, you probably picked up and started smoking whoever was around, and that's how you arrived at what you were going to smoke. So as vapors, we go, and I just watched a friend of mine last week do this. He went in, he was like, tried a few things, hated one, hated another he tried, and he was like, oh, that's good. But I could tell he hadn't found his all-day vape. He hadn't found the true love of his life, juice, which changes over time, by the way. Anyway, I got a Kangaroo EVOD, one flavor juice. I was going to grin and bear it and quit smoking, and I did. And then I went on a quest for vape. A week later, I bought an MVP, which was revolutionary for me compared to the EVOD. And I got a couple of different juices, and I was like, oh, I got a vanilla flavor. I got some fruity flavors, which I didn't care for too much, and I got a tobacco flavor, which I liked. It was Space Jam. And then I discovered that, you know, this tank that comes with the MVP2, it was very restricted airflow, and I was struggling, couldn't get a good lung hit. So after a couple of days of frustration with that, I walked into another shop. I said, look, this thing doesn't have a lot of, I guess, air draw. The guy gave me a Nautilus Mini, which I bought for like $40. And that was better. It tasted metallic. It never stopped tasting metallic. Every other day, I would go through about 2 tanks of juice, and then I would need to replace the coil. I didn't understand, you know, I had a regulated device, and I didn't really find the sweet spot. The Nautilus Mini likes to be around 3.8 to 4 volts. And I didn't understand that. And I didn't understand breaking in a coil, wicking. I burned out coils because I would chain vape, and 3 hits were great, and the 4th hit would just scorch, and I didn't know enough, so I would like scorch out a coil. I went through a lot of coils, and then what happened after that? Okay, I liked the Nautilus Mini, then I wanted more, so I got a Nautilus full size, and that was good. It wasn't great, but that was good. And then, you know, I fiddle around with the in between. I had a variable voltage EVOD, like Kangaroo Twist style. I'd walk around with my EVOD and like 3 different little tanks with different juice in them, my Kangaroo variable voltage with the Nautilus Mini on it, and then the MVP with the full-size Nautilus. So I had 3 different devices, all filled with different juice, and I would switch off. I was starting to get the hang of it. But you could see there was the beginnings of an obsession going on there. And it was also married with the frustration of not smoking and not having that satisfying vape. Well, I started watching more and more videos online. I learned about vape tongue, which I experienced for about 3 days. That was really frustrating. When your senses deaden and you can't taste anything, so you're just vaping. And it doesn't matter what you vape, you're just not going to taste anything. Then I bought a whole full kit and for dripping. I got a Nemesis clone mech mod, the battery charger, the batteries, the ohm meter, wire, and Japanese cotton in a small tool kit. Then I progressively started collecting more tools, progressively started buying more atomizers, My second mech mod, I forget. I got this. What did I get? Yeah, I got the IPv3. I got the Lotus. I got, you know, now, and then I started getting into raffles and doing group buys and getting really cool other mech mods to try out. And at a certain point, I was so far ahead of the game with spending on cigarettes that I had disposable money to spend on vaping gear. And I wanted to experience the full range of what's out there for vaping. And now I do crazy, sick builds, quad coils, 6 coils, verticals, dual parallels, using twisted wire and Clapton coils, buying juice by the 120 ml size jars. Advanced vaping stuff. And that was the progression for me. I have not sold one piece of gear of mine. I have given away a lot of stuff. I gave away my variable voltage EVOD style. I gave away my MVP. I gave away quite a lot of things. I've bought iSticks and Nautiluses for people. It's important. I know smokers out there who don't know about vaping and they tried Blue and Logic, and that's not going to get anybody to quit. So if it takes me giving somebody a setup and some juice to try, a couple of different bottles, then so be it. I'd rather do that than see them keep smoking and a year or two goes by before they then try vaping. So I also like to hang out at the vape shops because I enjoy the community and meeting people and talking vape. And I'll do builds for people. I don't charge money for it. I'll build out 3 or 4 decks for somebody, and I ask them to tip the guys at the shop or donate money to Juice for Troops, something like that. I'm not in that for the money. That's not my business. I want to see people who drip learn to do their own builds, because only when you do your own builds will you know what you're vaping on and how you arrived at that vape. And then when you want to tweak it, only you can tweak it in the way you want. The guy at the shop's not going to know how to tweak it to best suit you.